Hi, welcome to episode 4 of the Lola's Life podcast. This episode is going to have a little bit of background noise, more than usual. I decided to try recording in my car, and that wasn't a great idea. You could definitely hear some background noise, so I apologize for that. I now know that that isn't the best place to record a podcast. So anyway, a few words from our sponsor will be coming up next, and then we'll be right into the show. Thank you. So in today's episode, I wanted to talk about sinking funds as part of your budgeting process and why I think they're so important and how they've completely changed my success in our family budget. For years and years, I've had a budget for probably, I can't even imagine how long, for as long as I can remember. And for so many years, I would set a budget and we would go over almost every single week, and it was so frustrating, and I would try so hard to stick to the budget, and no matter what, something would happen. We would have emergency car repair, we would have kids needed to take school pictures or yearbooks or a vet bill or whatever. There was always something, and often many of those things would happen at the same time, which was so frustrating because then I would always feel like I was catching up. Okay, the next 2 weeks I have to come in under by this amount because we had these couple things happen, and then something else would happen. So then I would just constantly feel like I was struggling to catch up, and I would almost never be able to catch up. Because on the weeks when we didn't have emergencies happen, we would pretty much feel like we could spend whatever was there because we had enough left over in the weekly budget. So at some point, I don't recall when or who specifically, but I came across the concept of sinking funds. And it dramatically changed our ability to stick to our budget. So if you're not familiar with sinking funds, basically what you do is each week out of your weekly budget, you allocate dollars to things that occur at certain times of the year, either some things that maybe only happen once a month or things that happen only once a year, or things that you just don't even know when they're going to happen because it might be like an unexpected repair or something like that. So what I did is I started keeping track of when all these different things were occurring. Not when, but what they were. What are all these things that would cause us to blow our budget? The kids having to go to a birthday party and buying a gift for someone, the kids wanting to go out with friends and going maybe to a movie, or ordering out one night because it was busy. Just anything, my Amazon Prime subscription renewing, wanting to go get a pedicure, anything like that that's not part of your normal weekly spending. So I started looking at all of those things and started figuring out approximately how much per year those items cost. And I account for that in our weekly budget every single week, and I put the money aside. Some people put the money aside in an actual separate savings account and pull the money out as they need it out of that account and put it back into their checking. I just keep it in my checking, but I have it segregated specifically for those items, and I have them all detailed out on a spreadsheet. It can work either way. I'm super disciplined and I won't touch that money for anything other than what it was put aside for, unless I've specifically chosen that there was a reason that I wanted to spend it on something else rather than what I was saving it for. And that would usually be in the case of more like an optional type thing. Say I was saving up for, I don't know, a certain event, and then we decided that event we weren't going to do that, so I'm going to use the money for something else. But otherwise, I don't touch it if it's saved for like car expense, or we have a spare vehicle that we don't need to put gas in all the time, but occasionally we do, and it's kind of expensive to fill. So for example, I put aside money for gas for that vehicle. That way, whenever we do need to fill it, it doesn't impact the budget for that week. There's already money set aside for it. And I get really into detail. Some people do this at a much higher level, but I really like to kind of have everything detailed out as much as I can. So like, for example, my Amazon Prime renewal I know is going to be, I forget what it is, so say a little over $100 each year. So I literally put aside $2.50 every week out of my budget and save it up so that when the Amazon Prime membership hits the following year, I have exactly that amount set aside already, and it has no impact on my weekly budget. I also do this with things like I love Bath and Body Works hand soaps and lotions, but I do not buy them at full price ever. Well, not ever. I have occasionally, but very, very rarely will I pay full price for their products. I try and do their sales that they have I think it's in like January, and in like, I don't know, June or July, they have their semi-annual sales, and they have everything like 70% off. Not everything, but a lot of things like 70% off. So what I do is every week I put $4 aside out of my budget, and it's saved for those semi-annual sales. So $4 a week, it doesn't sound like much, but after 6 months of saving for the next semi-annual sale, I have like $100. So I can go in and buy everything on clearance and stock up and be set for the next 6 months on those items. So I get a really great deal. So I'm spending a lot less on the products than I would, and the money's already been set aside, so I don't have to feel like, oh gosh, I just spent, $75 at Bath and Body Works, and now I have to figure out where to make that up from. And it feels so much better when you go into a store and make a purchase and you know that you already have that money set aside specifically for that item. It used to really stress me out when I would go make a purchase and not really know exactly how I was covering this or how I was going to make up for it. So, like I said, it takes time to figure out what those items are, but each time a new one comes up, then I start saying, okay, going forward, I need to set aside this much money for this item. So even like, for example, my daughters want to go to the movies sometimes. So it's expensive to go to the movies. We do the matinee, so we save money there, and we go buy our snacks at Target before we go to the movie theater. But it's still not cheap, and I don't want to have to feel worried that I'm going to come in over budget because we went to the movies that week. So every week I have a small amount that I set aside for family fun, and then I pull the money out of those funds that are set aside. So when we do go to the movies, I don't have to stress like, oh, I have to spend this much money to go to the movies, and now we're going to come in over budget for the week because these other things happened. It's already there, and it just feels really great to go and spend that money and know that it was already set aside, and it's not going to have any impact negatively on your budget. And it's just really been a huge positive impact for me. So I just wanted to share that because I'm hoping that it can help someone else get your budget in line and help you stay on track on budget. And it's just really super helpful. So that's all for today. I just wanted to hopefully share that and hopefully help someone. And that's it. So hope you have a great day. Thanks a lot for listening.